Here we go.
All right, welcome back to the number 10th episode of the Film Cave.
The number 10th?
The number 10th episode.
Number 10th episode.
Got
What's up, everybody?
About. Yep.
Lots to talk about.
I'm Steve.
That's Steve.
Casey.
I'm Casey.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so we just got done with the Sundance Film Festival here in Park City, Utah, and we're gonna share our experience.
It was fun. I've never been. This is my first time.
Yeah, this is Steve's first
time actually seeing a bunch of movies there. I've been up there, but never seen a bunch of movies. So I was excited.
Well, I'm sorry you saw some movies on one of the worst Sundances ever.
Yeah, I think so. Well, no. I mean, I don't compare it to, so I don't know. But like the first night was I think the highlight of the whole week.
So the first night we saw a comedy called The Bronze, and it's co-written and stars Melissa Rauch, who is probably most famous for TV's The Big Bang Theory. She co-wrote it with her husband, and then a guy named Brian Buckley directed it, and she plays a foul-mouthed gymnast, a former gymnast who won a bronze medal, and
brought it back to her small town, and can't
get over it and acts like a brat. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I think when the initial shock, it was the shock of it's not the humor so much, because there's a lot of movies that the guys are all foul mouthed and can be like bad people and stuff like that. So that was refreshing to see. Right. And it was funny, but I think the big thing coming out of this movie for Sundance was there's this epic sex scene between two former gymnasts, and it's exactly what you'd think two gymnasts would be doing. Yeah, that's hilarious. So that was definitely a showstopper. Yeah, I got picked up, so you'll see it in your neck of the woods sometime. But first night, woo! And we saw Jason Sudeikis in the theater.
He walked in,
so that was fun. Yeah, and then we saw our first midnight Sundance at Midnight movie,
which you told me
Reversal.
You gave me the anticipation that the midnight one of them.
Yeah, the midnights are supposed. They're great. They're so much fun. Usually, Reversal
bad,
so bad. The director, if you care, is J.M. Cravioto from Mexico, but
he was there and he was doing a Q&A.
I just left. I didn't care. Yeah, I just left. It was bad. It was just, a woman who is chained up in this sex dungeon. She spins the tables on her captor.
Reverses it.
What?
And there's the big twist at the end that you're like, all right, this is don't even care anymore.
It's just bad.
There's lots.
So then on Sunday, we'll just jump right to I'm done. Sunday, it was premiere of a documentary called Being Evil that my brother Patrick was an assistant editor on. He works for Milk House in Denver, Colorado, and so it's about the life of Evel Knievel. It was a very fun, interesting documentary, and Johnny Knoxville's a producer, so there's a lot of influence with him for the whole Jackass crew and stuff like that, and Tony Hawk and Matt Hoffman and guys like that. So it was fun. Definitely worth checking out.
I didn't get to see it, so I'll see it when it comes out.
Yeah. Sunday night we saw another horror movie called It Follows,
which couldn't be any worse than Reversal, so I was excited.
Right. Yeah, and it's much better. It's actually really good. I'd say it's really good. It's scary. It's effective.
Right. No. Yeah.
It lost me a little bit.
It didn't.
The last 30 minutes, I think the execution sort of wasn't as good as
it was a good concept for a scary movie, but it kind of fell flat toward the end, especially toward the end. It kind of fell flat. There was a lot of scenes that didn't make a lot of sense and didn't need to be in there at all.
Yeah. Well, I thought that the build up, this idea of once you've had sex,
with somebody who has
STDs.
been following. Right.
It follows you. It was a very interesting concept, and I thought it was well done. The execution was quite scary in the build up, and then there's some events that occur about 3/4 of the way through.
It takes you totally out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes you out of it. It doesn't. It's like cheesy and not really that scary anymore. And so, but I'd definitely say it's going to be out in theaters in March. So check it out because there is definitely some nice originality there. And later that day, Steve and I saw a documentary called Welcome to Leith, which was pretty scary.
It was.
I found a very disturbing documentary about a white supremacist who takes over.
Who tries to take over this small town of Leith in North Dakota, and what happens when the about 24 people or so that live in this town sort of rise against. It was a good.
Some of his followers that have trying to take over this town.
Yeah, it was a really interesting story. I think it had everything it needed to be a good documentary. I don't know. I felt like
got my Sundance water.
I kind of felt like it needed more. I felt like I wanted more content, more information about it. It was good.
So that was I thought that was an interesting,
right? No, the
very
story,
disturbing story.
Right, but the story was there to make a documentary. I felt like it kind of I don't know, went on a little longer than I wanted it to, but it was interesting. I thought it was good.
Nice.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
that's better.
And then after that, Hallie, my wife, and I saw Mississippi Grind, which was.
Got a lot of
in the premieres. Yeah, it's good. It's Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn from The Dark Knight Rises and Animal Kingdom, which is a great Australian crime movie that you should check out. And you definitely check it out. It's a little under the radar. They play these two pretty pathetic guys that go from Iowa down to New Orleans, gambling throughout to raise money for this big high stakes game that's happening down in New Orleans, and it's a very sad, intimate look at addiction and how awful it is as a disease. So I was very moved by Ben Mendelsohn's performance. He was very, very good in it. But it's sad and it's very slow. But it's from the writers and directors Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden, who did Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling,
that was good.
And steered him to an Oscar nomination for Half Nelson. So they're a good filmmaking team, but it left me a little cold, I guess. Yeah. It's because it's scary, it's depressing. And then that night, Steve and I saw The Visit.
Yes,
which was a world cinema documentary.
Right. And it was at midnight, and I was extremely tired.
It was at midnight. We were all tired.
And it's a very, very, very,
very bizarre and slow. Yes. And it's just what if aliens came to Earth? How would we handle? We as in not the United States, because this was funded outside of the United States. So it was like the the English government
I thought that the cinematography had its own tone throughout the whole movie, lots of slow mo of going through towns,
lots of slow mo.
And then there was a guy who I guess has been chosen to be the guy who's going to go up into the ship, and you hear him talking over his intercom through this big orange suit that he has to put on and all that kind of stuff, and it kind of fit, and I liked that, and the cinematography, and he has him running through different parts of these different landscapes and that kind of stuff, and it was beautiful almost. I liked it. I liked that kind of part of it, but there wasn't enough. It was classified as a documentary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a documentary,
which is usually truth
based on
truth,
right? But it's just based on
what if.
This
was just high speculation,
right?
Almost, and you just kept thinking.
It kind of loses you because you're toward the end, you're kind of all right, I don't. This is
it's just okay, that was an interesting hypothesis,
right? But then after the movie's over, I kind of felt this is like what Sundance is. You go to see a movie this that you'll never see.
Exactly, you'll never see it anywhere else.
And it was interesting enough to go and see it at Sundance, and it was fun. And
our last one was very good, called Going Clear: Scientology in the Prison of Belief. And this one is scary stuff. Yeah. It's directed by Alex Gibney, who does like a documentary a year. Like the guy is one of the most prolific documentary filmmakers out there right now. Yeah. But yeah, it's intense stuff. Like about 4 or 5 people were interviewed that have recently left the Church of Scientology, and this information that they're sharing is all new. And it's very disturbing. And Scientologists are very confrontational. Yeah. And they've actually already started to intimidate and track down like a lot of the film reviewers, like film critics that have written about this movie that they saw at Sundance, and like threatening them that you shouldn't write stuff that you don't know, and like what 4 or 5 people.
But they're writing about the movie, not about Scientology.
They're just always very confrontational about anything. If you bash anything about Scientology or speak ill of it or anything like that, it's freaky. That's gonna be on HBO in the next coming months. Yeah. So definitely check it out. It's fascinating. But
I didn't see it, but it sounded amazing.
It is freaky, and you'll think of Tom Cruise in a totally different light.
Right. Well,
maybe even John Travolta. Yeah. And then the what's his name? Mike Cavendish or something. He's like the president of the Church of Scientology. Yeah. He's a freaky dude.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say about that before I get stalked, for making these videos online.
Oh, they'll shut it down
by Scientologists.
Shut it down.
So that was good. I think I was excited to share Sundance with Steve. Yeah. And go see some movies with you. But I was disappointed.
But overall, lackluster. Not very good.
Yeah, good documentaries as usual, but I think
is it getting overrun with it just too much?
The next few years, try and see more of like the world cinematic stuff, or stuff that might not get a chance to be seen.
Right, something that won't necessarily get bought.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of.
That's what I feel like about all the premieres are.
Yeah,
premieres are just
premieres. They're just big stars. Yeah. Like there's very very rarely, it seems like in the past few Sundance. At the festivals, there's very few of those like water cooler movies that really generate a discussion.
It's like that.
But part of it is because there's so many means of entertainment now, Netflix and Amazon and online and wherever you can get all this media. And it takes a long time to make a movie. Yeah. And if we made a movie right now about something happening today, in a year or 2 years, when we try to get people to see it, is it still going to be a concern? Is it still going to be an issue? So I just that's kind of I wish there were more of those types of movies that really generated just good discussions about. And generated buzz. I feel like we didn't hear any.
That you would see
like that's not inspiring to me. Is like
it just gets picked up because people are gonna go see
like that. I don't know. It's just like that's to me. It's like having some major movie stars in it doesn't make it shouldn't make it a Sundance.
I don't feel
movie.
like
it's like why is this movie in here?
Right. I don't like the fact that they have so many big stars in all these Sundance movies.
But. I mean, we had a great time, and
it was fun.
And we look forward to, checking when the award winners come out and tracking those down.
Yeah, I mean, most of the ones that
when everything comes out later,
check them
out. And so we'll move on to movies that come out this weekend. It's going to be a bad weekend, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if American Sniper wins the box office again. I mean,
third week in a row.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be surprised. It'll be a 4th week in a row. It'll be like a month straight.
Because there's nothing.
There's just nothing really out. And
so we got the big one.
The big one, which possibly could knock. I mean,
I think
knock it off.
I think the only reason it will is because everybody's already seen American Sniper, and they need something else. Yeah. Which is Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending.
And directed by the Wachowski siblings.
The Wachowski siblings, yes. Andy and Lana Wachowski. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, it's exciting. It's like, the guys that made the guy and girl now, excuse me. That
right.
Yeah.
Siblings, not brothers.
Siblings.
Anyway, so yeah, they
that make the Matrix, and it's just
the only thing that I really
sci-fi idea.
Yeah, I mean
that's intriguing, but
I heard that it was supposed to come out a long time ago. So it was supposed to come out 9 months ago, and they pushed it back because of all like the special effects and the post-production stuff they're supposed to do. That's what officially is supposed to be said about it, but it could just be a terrible movie.
The two biggest releases this week were both pushed back like at least 9 months. I think Jupiter Ascending was a little less than that, but still, like
if it gets pushed back, it's not a good way to
They wanted to like
especially
convert it into 3D or
especially if you want to release it in January, like that's not a good time to. January, February, kind of like the slow.
Yeah, it's sort of like the death of movies.
But yeah, I don't know. It looks alright. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one, Seventh Son, which you mentioned, was directed by who?
Sergei Bodrov.
Okay.
I speak Russian.
You do.
No.
You did a good job. And it has Ben Barnes, Julianne Moore, and
Jeff Bridges. The dude.
The dude.
The only reason to see that with Jeff Bridges,
but it looks
and Julianne Moore as the villain,
the witch.
The witch. She's a witch.
I think when I saw the previews I've seen for it, it's just I don't understand the point. Maybe the only thing I could think is like
based on a series of books,
right? But
and he's the seventh son.
Again,
the seventh son.
I don't understand why these big actors do this.
Paycheck movies?
I guess, like, hey, I gotta pay my
money or
my second house mortgage.
We're attracted to maybe trying to start a franchise, a new franchise idea for a movie. A lot of that kind of comes back to the execution, like, of the director.
Well, maybe they could have maybe run on the coattails of like Hobbit or maybe something like that. And like, oh, there's another kind of like witch.
Yeah. But totally
story, like something like that.
Like The Hobbit, Game of Thrones, like
something.
But
it just comes off as I don't want to see it. And then the last one, the big family movie. The big family movie is SpongeBob. Okay, it's the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water.
Whoa!
Directed by who?
Peter.
You're the director.
Set me up on that one.
Peter Tibbett.
Peter Tybett. Tybett. Yeah, whatever.
The only thing I can say is
enjoy that. Enjoy watching that insanity with your kids.
Yep. Good luck.
Yeah.
Anyway,
best of luck with that.
Next on to Blu-ray. What's out on Blu-ray this week? We've got some good ones though.
Yeah, I got a couple good ones. John Wick with Keanu, Mr. Keanu Reeves.
You saw that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it's very violent, and I mean, I don't know. Some people might find it completely dumb, but it totally works. It's like it's a quick moving movie. He's badass in it. I mean, it relies a little bit too much on like gunplay and stuff like that, but it's insanely choreographed by the director of the movie, and like Keanu is back, like in a big way. So it's definitely a fun, action-packed movie that moves quickly, and
doesn't get slowed down by a lot of.
No, nothing. Doesn't get slowed down by much at all. Like that's why it's so much fun. It just it just moves.
That's good. Yeah, and, that's our.
So that's definitely a buy it.
Yeah, for sure.
And my other buy it is definitely a more independent movie. It premiered last year at Sundance called Dear White People, and I would suggest to buy it because it's very funny and scathing, and I think we should have a sense of humor. About our white race. It's very. I don't know. It's just very.
I love that kind of.
It's very interesting. It's written and directed by Justin Simeon, who's definitely gonna be an up and coming director. I think.
Good.
I mean, couple up and coming stars. Tessa Thompson, who's in Selma right now.
Oh yeah.
Tyler James Williams, who's probably most known from Everybody Hates Chris, TV series that's loosely based on Chris Rock's life. It's not on anymore, but and Dennis Haysbert from his Allstate commercials, and Pedro Serrano in Major League, and President David Palmer in 24.
That's what I know.
Yeah,
he's President Palmer to me.
President Palmer. That's it.
Yeah, those two good ones.
So both of those, I mean, very different genres and whatnot, but definitely I think worth buying both of those.
And then there's three more, and they're
3 more. And
pretty terrible.
I mean, my rented pick would be to check out Dracula Untold.
I would say free Redbox.
Yeah, free Redbox or something. I mean, if you like Luke Evans, that might be more of a reason to, or you just kind of want like a horror, I don't know, a horror movie. It's Dracula Untold, but it's going to be the same damn stuff that you've seen in a lot of Dracula stuff. But it's directed by Gary Shore, who is from Ireland, so they shot it in Ireland, and half the cast of Game of Thrones is actually like in this movie.
They were just out there.
They're already there, and yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the 2 Skip-Its, which was Ouija, which is terrible.
Ouija
made tons of money, and they're gonna make another one, which is sad. But that's the way those movies are. And then the other one is The Best of Me. Another. What is it? Who directed it? Or wrote it?
Michael Hoffman directed it.
Right.
But it's based on another book by Nicholas Sparks. So if you're fans of The Notebook, then, or you want to watch something with your significant other, then,
okay. How about this? We'll say this is a movie.
Check it out. But it does have the beautiful and talented Michelle Monaghan, who's usually always good. I don't care to see this movie, so I won't see her in this. But and James Marsden, who was in The Notebook.
Hilarious.
He's hilarious. Mm-hmm. In what? He's hilarious in The Best of Me. So funny when he tries to act seriously.
Not in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. When he tries to act seriously, it's funny. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. No. So it's laughable. It's a non-comedy, but it's laughable.
Yeah, and Michael Hoffman, he directed One Fine Day years ago with George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer.
I liked that one. That was a good one.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, that does it for this episode of The Film Cave.
The Film Cave.
Yes. Yeah.
We're in the cave.
We are. Yeah.
So yeah, remember to check us out on Facebook. Facebook, Twitter, you know.
I think it's blurry.
Did you put it on?
I don't know. I think I was just worried about the battery.
Back and forth. Zoom in, zoom out. Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, the usual. And then check us out next week.
Yep, we'll be back next week talking about more movie stuff.
Movie
stuff for you to not watch.
Maybe we'll find something that you need to watch on Netflix or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Deuces.